Thank you, Dr. Chaturvedi. Am I audible? Just a quick, yeah, thank you. Firstly, it's wonderful to be here, to be at an in-person event in this wonderful sunshine. So thank you for all to be here, and to Amit and the hosts, MDI, Professor Rajesh. Second event, I was at an event on Friday. It's good to get out of Zoom meetings and meet people in person as well. Before I talk about education, it might be helpful to talk a little bit about what's happening in industry. And I'll share a little bit of what we are seeing on the Coursera platform, which is a fairly large platform, and I have the benefit of data and some insights from what's happening on our platform. The pandemic has been tough on the industry. We saw 1 crore job losses in India. We also saw almost 95% of households in India reported that income went down in the last 18 months or so. At the same time, we've seen 90% of companies say that they will digitalize very, very rapidly. So what Professor Ajit was talking about in terms of digital skills coming into PGDM programs, we are definitely seeing that happening across banks, we are seeing that across auto companies, we're seeing that across FMCG companies, and so on and so forth. The only silver lining in all of this has been that while 1 crore jobs were lost in the country, there are about 2.83 crore jobs that are going to get created. And most of these jobs require digital skills. These are jobs which are either technical in nature, or they require managers who need to understand technical skills in nature as well. And while there's been a lot of ambiguity about will technology take away jobs or will technology create jobs, I think after 18 months of analyzing data, there is a point of view that 1 crore jobs got lost. But by 2025 in India, there are going to be about 3 crore jobs that are going to get created. The other thing that we have seen is that the pandemic has thrown up lots of challenges for higher education, but there are probably 4 that can be highlighted, at least from my perspective. Firstly, it's been about blended teaching. Every institution has had to adopt some form of either live or async kind of teaching. And the reality is that 80-90% of faculty had never taught online before the pandemic. And I was reading this comment from the IIT director, Dr. Rao, in the Indian Express, I think a few months ago, where he spoke about how teaching in a classroom versus teaching online is a very different ballgame. A great teacher in the classroom does not always translate to a great teacher online. And it's been a struggle how to enable blended teaching to happen. But the news is that even post the pandemic, as we get out of the pandemic, hopefully, and we'll see what happens with Omicron and so on, blended teaching is very likely here to stay. Now, you can debate whether 10% will continue to be online, 90% on campus, or whether 40% will stay online and 60% on campus. That we'll see, but blended teaching is going to stay, and it's not been easy for faculty to be able to adopt this. The second thing that we've seen is there's a massive challenge on student employability, because the kind of emerging jobs in industry have changed, and I'll talk a little bit more about this when we come back to the Q&A later. But the student employability factor, which has always been a question mark, in general in India, but I think it has come to the fore that the kind of tech-related skills across disciplines, whether it is management or PGDM and so on, have changed quite significantly, and it's a big question that we've seen. The third has been, of course, access and costs, and all academic leaders here, business leaders, would probably see that there's lots of cost pressures in higher education in general. There's also been digital divide. To be able to do a live class on Zoom or on Teams is very difficult for students who are in tier 2, tier 3 cities without the right internet connectivity. And what surprised me when I heard about this statistic for the first time is in other markets, in the US, in management program, 33% of all students who are studying management programs, master's programs, in the US are taking a fully online degree. And in the context of costs of higher education, we are seeing a big shift, at least in other markets. We'll see how much of that happens in India or not. And then the last piece that we've seen is faculty development has been a big challenge, because if an MBA student wants to go and work in fintech and should be learning blockchain, then every institution needs to have a great blockchain faculty, needs to have a cryptocurrency faculty, and that's not always been the case. So in the context of new skills, in the context of employability, faculty development has been a big challenge as well. And while there's lots of work that's been done around all of these 4 challenges, I'll just share a little bit of what's been happening in terms of the progress and promise of online learning in all of this context. I mentioned earlier, Coursera is a fairly large platform, but what might surprise many of the audience members here are there are 1.5 crore learners who come to the Coursera platform in India to learn various topics. They come to learn business, technology, data science, human skills, and so on and so forth. It used to be 70 lakh. During the course of the pandemic, it went up to 1.5 crore. So we've seen a massive explosion in the adoption of online education across the country. The other thing that we've seen is in the course of the pandemic, where we made a lot of content available for free, 1,100 campuses, 15 lakh students came and took 1.4 crore courses on the Coursera platform. And the top 3 skills that they learned were learning how to learn, the science of well-being, and machine learning. And what this tells us is, the fundamental skills, learning how to learn, but the second skill, which is the science of well-being in the context of the pandemic where everybody was worried about their personal well-being, and then finally a digital skill like machine learning or like Python, are top of mind across 1.5 crore individuals, a lot of whom are working professionals as well, and top of mind across 15 lakh students in India. And I'm just taking the top 3 from a catalog which is about 8,000 courses, and there's lots that we are learning from that as well. The other thing that we've seen is businesses are investing significantly in the learning of their employees. And what management schools, PGDM schools would cater to as executive education, we are seeing a lot of that translating into online learning as well. We work with one of the largest banks in the country for the last 4 or 5 years. And 3 months ago, the chief HR officer of the bank said to me for the first time, we are a technology company that also works in finance. So what the Goldman Sachs CEO had said 4 or 5 years ago, we are starting to see elements of that coming into India as well. Whether it's a bank, whether it's a technology company, whether it's a auto company, telecom company, and so on, are all starting to internally think along the DNA of a technology company which works in X industry. And so a lot of that skilling is happening on the Coursera platform. And in the context of all of this, I think there's a role that online platforms have to play from the NEP implementation as well. And there are 3 specific ones that stand out. Firstly, the NEP talks about the use of technology in education. And we'll see how this goes further, but when I look back at the last 1.5 years, this 1.5 crore learners taking crores of courses, we are already seeing a lot of that happen. And I think this is a role that online education and Coursera can continue to play. The second element is multidisciplinary education, and we've spoken a little bit about that. But if you look at the hottest jobs that an MBA student wants, it's around managing digital products. They want to go and work at an Amazon or at a Flipkart. It's around digital transformation. It's around managing an AI and ML team. And so bringing some of this multidisciplinary element into education is also something that can be done. And then the last point is around internationalization. And one of the last things that I'll mention is so far a lot of the institutions teaching on the Coursera platform were outside of India. But now IIM Calcutta, IIM Kozhikode, IIT Roorkee, IIT Guwahati are teaching on the Coursera platform. And what's interesting is that over 50% of the students who are coming to take their courses are coming from outside India. So taking the best of India to outside is also starting to happen. I'll pause with that. Thank you.
Thank you.